With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Is 7P, the place to be. It is the Squared Circle Digest. Sean Stanley, Frankie Fresco, glad that you have joined us on this beautiful Tuesday night. Already in the chat, EA Minutes, my dad, no doubt, Stephen Gonzalez, Terry, and we appreciate everybody that's on X. Frankie, how are we doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How everything good? Been working a lot this past weekend, and then next week.
You're a busy man. Busy man. This week.
Next week we'll be in California, so there might be some. We have to figure out how we're gonna do the show next week because I'm gonna be in California. So
yeah, and then also the show will probably be at a later time next week. I got grandfather duties also on top of Mr. Busy Fresco there. You had a beautiful office this weekend, by the way. Yeah, nice looking air. I saw that. I was like, wow, this guy calls this working. Okay. All right.
I mean, look, there sometimes is a perks at what I do, and the DJ world has opened up a lot of avenues that sometimes I don't think ever I would be doing these things. But hey, man, I mean, I told you, like, if you want to, like, do things and go beyond certain places, I'm telling you, try being a DJ. I'm telling you, it opens up doors. For Sean, what he's mentioning is that I was DJing at a yacht, a beautiful yacht. It was amazing wedding. One of my friend was getting married. He needed a DJ.
Wow, that's awesome.
He hit me up, and of course, I rocked the party out.
I saw that. You had the second floor, and the first floor was a live band. I was like, man.
Yeah, well, the second floor was myself. And then I had a connection also to the third floor. So I had music.
Okay.
So second and third was for me, and then first floor was the band. But it was fun, man. It was at the Venetian, so the Venetian ship. Very nice. If you ever want to get married, highly recommend it. It costs money. It's expensive, but it's
I was gonna say, are they gonna let us just go on there and just to walk around and hey?
Man, it's beautiful. You know what, Sean? After having that experience, if I ever do decide to get married, I will go ahead and pull that off. I'll work my ass off. I'll make sure.
They did the ceremony and everything on the boat, or did they do the ceremony and then went to the boat?
They did the ceremony outside, and then the reception was in the boat, was in the yacht. Yeah, so it was cool because it goes from Bayside. It takes you to the hotel. They were staying at one of the Marriott or the Hyatt. I think it was the Hyatt that they were staying at. It picks you up. They have like a red carpet, like if you're like freaking a movie star, and they let them come in. First hour, I was DJing. The majority of them were upstairs because I was doing the cocktail hour. And then after that, they made their way downstairs. The only thing, I'm not gonna lie to you, the only thing that it was kind of annoying. And sorry, guys, I know that you guys are probably like, why is Frank blabbering about this? But if you want to see what I'm talking about, go to my Instagram page under Fresco Music. You see it down on my title down there, right? And you'll see it. I tagged it. You'll see the first. Obviously, the first one was me DJing at Batch. I also sometimes DJ in Brickle. But if you swipe it, you'll see the yacht stuff. And then you'll notice that at the first hour I was DJing for cocktails. Second hour, I had to go downstairs and help the band because they hired the band, but they didn't hire the band to make announcements. So the grand entrances and all that stuff, I had to do it. I had to announce the parents. I had to announce the bride and the groom. I was helping with the toast and all that stuff. That was the only thing that was difficult because the band was a nice band and everything, but the engineer who was working with the band, that guy was a prick. That guy didn't want to help me. That guy was like trying to
That guy was straight Sean Stanley. That's who that guy was.
That guy was being a dick. Like I was telling him, I was like, "Yo, I need to connect to my laptop. What cord do you need? Like, if you need XLRs, do you need quarter inches?" And he didn't want to cooperate with me. He's like, "I don't know. You're the DJ," and I'm like, "Yo, why are you being a dick? I'm trying. I don't care about your band. I don't care about it. I want the wedding to come out correct, and I need to make sure it sounds correct. It's my friend's wedding, you know. He paid me to make sure I do this shit right?" And he was like, finally at the end, I thankfully I bought I always have backup cables and stuff, so I was able to connect and I was putting everything correctly and everything, and then I was able to kill it, and we did a phenomenal job. And thank God, Jesus, thank God, I was able to bring my USB stick because I was running up and down. I had to go upstairs, then come back downstairs to like transfer music because I didn't have my I brought my other. I always bring two laptops. I bring I have my old laptop for like ceremony and stuff, and then I have my new laptop for like when the dance. So I always bring two laptops, and you never know, something could crash on one of them. So I always have it as a DJ. You typically need to you should have two laptops just in case, especially for weddings. So then that's what happened. But no, Steven, I do not have high class friends.
Yep. Did you play Boats and Hose?
Boats and Hose? No. Oh, that would have been awesome though. And the Nina,
I was no doubt was
Santa
asking that.
Maria. Yeah, I seen that. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. Yeah, boats and hoes. You know from where that is, right, Sean? Oh my God,
music, man.
That's from Step Brothers. Will Ferrell and the other guy.
Oh,
you never saw that movie?
No, I've watched the movie, but I don't. Dude,
that movie's awesome.
I don't remember stuff, man. I'm only thing I remember is wrestling and that you're a pain in the ass. That's it.
It's because you know what?
In my memory. That's it.
Where's Raul? He said that we only watch wrestling.
That's right. That's right. There you go, Raul. For you, buddy. That was our segment on life of a DJ.
I'm not gonna lie. I probably look tired as hell because I'm still like tired. I mean, my birthday was on Friday.
Yeah.
So I was celebrated.
You went to the Dolphins game.
Of course, I was at the Dolphins game for the preseason opener, which was fun. And then after that,
then you had two on the boat with you that night, and I mean, it's just been crazy for you, buddy. It's been
insane, man, insane. Huh. But hey, man, the most important thing is that we're here to talk wrestling. Forget about everything else. Wrestling is okay.
Look at Finn Sammy. He's listening on X. He's like, wrestling and the Dolphins for me. There you go. That's all you need. What else do you need in life? Wrestling, Dolphins, and then DJ, I guess.
For me, I have wrestling, Dolphins, and Sean Stanley. There you go.
Wow.
Look at the love I'm showing you, sir.
It is. Wow. It's just. Oh man, got some eye, man. Teared up, buddy. Teared up. All right, man. It's time for us to talk a little wrestling.
Uh-oh.
And again, appreciate everybody. If you are watching us on X or either one of the YouTube channels, Stanley Media House Network or Frankie Fresco, jump on over to the other one, hit the subscribe button, help each other out. We do mostly wrestling on here. Going to get into a little bit more of the Dolphins once the season starts, and also when the Panthers roll around in the heat. So there will be other things going on. Steven Gonzalez, the goatee. I was given bad advice on how to start it, and I have to regrow it because they told me to grow it from the middle out, and the outside never grew to catch up with. So it looked like I had like I don't know, it's just getting bad. So this time I'm doing it a different way and seeing if it works out better for me, because I got tired of the gruff underneath my face, and it will be regrowed. It will be regrowed. I don't know if that's the right thing. I will grow it back out. I'll put it that way.
That sounds better.
Yeah, you don't want me to regrow it? Regrowed. I regrowed it. All right, let's discuss somebody that regrowed back into the scene on SmackDown. Roman Reigns. He's back, my friend. Did you get it? Because you were at the Dolphins game, and then you had a busy weekend. Were you even able to catch up on what happened? Like,
sir, come on, man. I have no life. I only have wrestling in my life.
Wrestling and DJ, baby.
And I will say this: one of the most boring SmackDowns I have seen all this year. Not gonna lie.
I don't know, man. I don't know about.
I was very disgusted with that.
I thought it was more one of the most. It was like, okay, nothing's going to happen until we get to Roman. That's kind of how I saw it. It was like, okay, the big finale is Roman, and nothing's going to have a chance to overshadow that. I did find it odd, and I mean, I talked about it on Friday as well, but like, I didn't like the fact that he just came in and roughshotted the whole damn crew. With Jacob Fatu out, he just roughshotted everybody.
Can I ask a question, man?
Go ahead, man.
Remember last year?
You get one question tonight, so this is it, though. This is the only question you get.
Can you explain to me why are they doing this exact? They're making the exact same like situation at SummerSlam. That isn't that the exact same thing? Pretty much, he almost did in SummerSlam. He laid out everybody else, and then that's it. That he's here for the rescue. Like it's like the same redundant situation. Here comes
in SummerSlam. He didn't lay everybody out though.
No, he didn't lay the other two guys.
The other guys, they were gone by then.
He only went after Solo because by that time. But it's the same thing, same concept, same thing, and it's predictable, man. It was so.
I don't know if it's predictable. What I feel like the story now is going to be that Roman's going to feel like he can take on the bloodline by himself, and then strengthen numbers, and then he's going to have to go and build his group because he's not going to be able to do it alone. I just don't know what the injury to Jacob Fatu is. Yeah, because I have not seen it. I went through and looked, and other than him in a walking boot and things like that, I don't know what the injury is.
They need him, They need him because
I mean,
the bloodline 2.0 sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
Without him, yes. Without him, yes. And the fact that you let Roman already spear Solo and cost him a title, and then last week he basically ran roughshod through him, hit him with 2 Superman punches, and almost got the Olafala back. And then they attacked and got it back for
So for 2 weeks in a row, they've been
Solo.
He has laid out the bloodline for 2 weeks in a row. Then, right?
Well, no, there was the SummerSlam. SummerSlam, he laid out Solo. He cost him the title, and then on this SmackDown, he laid out pretty much everybody at the end there.
So explain to me where WWE is going with this, because you're obviously the bloodline. You were building the bloodline to be bigger and better than when Roman was there, and now all of a sudden, the last week, you killed everything that they tried to build. And I told you, I said, look, this bloodline sucks. This bloodline is not that great.
Yeah, I think what they did was they built it up so when Roman came back, and what I was just saying was that it's going to appear to Roman that, hey, I can beat these guys by myself. But then once Jacob Fatu comes back, then there's going to be strength in numbers. And then Roman's not going to be able to do it by himself. And that's where I think the story's going to start, because now Roman's got to go either recruit Jimmy, recruit Jay, recruit Sammy, recruit anybody, or bring in new blood, because now that brings up the story. Because I feel like in a way they're almost building it up to where like Roman believes he can stop the bloodline on his own. And then when Jacob Fatu comes back, then I think that's going to be the one that's going to swing the tide, and he's going to see that he can't do it by himself. And that's going to be the story within the story of Roman, I think, battling, because he's going to have to go ask for help.
The crazy thing about it, though, is how long are they going to be able to drag this on, especially if Jacob Fatu is taking so long for him to get healthy. That's the
Well,
issue.
I mean, if you look at it, you could probably do a match with him against Tama Tonga.
Why? He already laid him out.
Yeah, but again, it's not saying it's going to be, but you could stretch it out a little bit to where if you wanted to. And honestly, you don't even need him on these pay-per-views that are coming up.
Is he scheduled to
Berlin,
show up?
You don't need Roman on that one.
Is he scheduled to come in this Friday?
Yeah, he'll be on this week's SmackDown. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it just
and
seems
the
like
interesting
it's hurting
thing,
the storyline.
Again, you know, I go down the rabbit hole, and with people that have a lot more time than me, Raul would hate some of these people that I follow on X Twitter. They got this one, and did you see? Remember back when Solo picked up the Ola Fala and handed it to Roman, and then Solo stared at it and everything else, like on SmackDown, you saw what they did with Tama Tonga, right? He did the same thing as he's handing it to Solo Sikoa outside the ring. He's staring at it. He didn't want to let it go. And then some were like, well, there's the poisoning, like what happened with Solo, where you get a hold of it and I guess you get the feeling of the Olafala to where now you don't want to relinquish it. And we'll see if it goes the same route. I just mean, you know, again, we'll see how they go. I just don't like the fact that Roman came in and just roughshotted everybody. That's the only part that I have an issue with. The fact that, but again, if the story is that he gets a sense of comfort that he can battle this group, and then all of a sudden Jacob Fatu comes in and changes everything, and now the story is him having to, you know, battle within himself to go and, I don't know about apologize or what the wording is going to be for Roman to have to go back and bring back the Usos, bring back Sami Zayn, or recruit a whole new bloodline in. But I think that's where the story is going to be. And then also I think that's where you'll start seeing Paul Heyman also. Paul Heyman has been backstage for all of this. Hasn't been used on screen yet, but he has been backstage and is working on in the angle as far as putting it together. He's working in the creative process of the angle and keeping it going. And he also said that, I think I saw somewhere where he said, you know, what Roman's going to do is going to pass and surpass what he did the 4 years of the bloodline before this. So
what you're trying to tell me is that the Olafala thing is like the Infinity Stones of the Avengers, where everybody
I don't know all the superhero stuff, but it seems to be that when they touch it. But I found it weird because I honestly thought the one time Jacob Fatu went to put it on his neck, he hesitated. And I was like, oh, is he going to do something? Because this is the whole time where it was Jacob Fatu's there Roman's got Jacob there to protect Heyman before he put Heyman through the table and all this stuff. But he hesitated before he put it on him. I was like, oh, so I think ultimately maybe there's going to be something to that. And also remember the one thing with Roman too. And again, I don't know how they're going to go in, how deep in everything they want to go on this storyline. Remember, he was presented that by his father, Sika. That falls into this story because now that's what Solo is wearing around his neck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like there's deeper layers to this if they want to go. And again, they might not be going this deep. But if you read into it and people that have a lot more time to be able to do it than me, you know, when they start connecting some of the dots and you look back at some of the things and you're like, you know what? It makes sense.
For me, man, I just think it's kind of cheap storytelling. Like you're not learning, you're not doing as much Yeah, I think they made a mistake by letting him lay out both of them, and then obviously even touching Solo already in SummerSlam,
Yeah,
and it just kills the Bloodlines vibe of what they were able or they were trying to build. At this point in time, you're not gonna get. There's no anticipation for me to go ahead and say, "Oh, I want to see Solo versus
yeah. I
Roman
think
right now."
this week Roman has to be laid out
It has to be,
on SmackDown.
and
Yeah,
this is
has to be
and this is why I
laid out
told
at
you.
some point.
This is why I told you that they needed to do something different than just what I said before. Solo and Roman are going to run into each other. One of them is going to lay out one or the other and go from there. They had to change it up. They're not changing it up. They should have changed it up because now it
Yeah, but see,
allows
my
us.
whole thing was you hit Roman's music, Solo gets distracted, Cody hits a crossroads or something. They never touch. And he still wins, and Roman still technically costs him the match. I don't know that they had to go as far as they did because I don't think that Cody needed that. Cody hits the Cody cutter from the top rope, and then Roman's music comes on. And honestly, I know we're gonna talk. I want to talk about this one next, but like if I'm Cody, I'm a little like, why are you getting involved in my match? I had it. It's not like Cody was in trouble. They were both laid out. And like I feel like that's what everybody like WWE was hoping that it would be like, oh, who's he gonna? But everybody knew it's like the Titanic. Bring on the water. You knew when Roman got in the ring, he's going after Solo. I don't think that they should have let him get to the ring. And then you follow that up by this week on SmackDown calling him to the ring, and then he kicked their ass. Solo calls him out, and then he kicks their ass.
Well, the thing also, Sean, is that they already started SmackDown the wrong way. They made KO Kevin Owens look soft as hell, man. It was terrible. It was disgusting what I saw about that. For the way that they went with the stupid ass storyline of, hey, Kevin, I think you deserve a title shot, and then Kevin Owens going ahead and saying, no, I don't deserve it and all that stuff. What kind of storyline is this crap? Like, that was terrible.
You have to remember the part with Nick Aldis. The Nick Aldis part is what sold the whole thing, because what he said was when he's talking to Cody and Kevin walks up and he's like, hey, I'm talking to Nick to solidify our match. And he's like, hey, I don't deserve it. And Nick Aldis goes, no, I agree with you, Kevin. You don't deserve it. That's why I'm waiting for Roman to get here. And I want to talk to Roman about it. And he said, wait a minute, hold on. You've got all these guys in this locker room. You can open up that door and find somebody that deserves the title shot more than Roman Reigns.
Wait. So hold on. So what you're saying is that Kevin Owens is like a baby then? That you give a baby, you offer them a candy. He says, no, I don't want it. So you give it to the other kid. And then all of a sudden he starts bitching and complaining, says, no, that guy, I need my candy. I need the candy, not you.
No. He took it back as a thing to make sure Roman doesn't get the title shot is what
Sean,
he did.
It's terrible story.
I'm not saying it's the greatest thing, but again, this is what we talked about the week before. This is what we've talked about all this time. What's next?
What's next? Definitely not this crap. This crap was terrible.
Look, let's look at what happened. Look at the title pictures right now on Raw and SmackDown. Who's got the title shots? KO and Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nobody else ready to go, or everybody else that can go are involved in storylines that are bigger than the titles.
And whose fault is that?
That's what are you going to do? How are you going to?
I'm going to blame WWE for most of that fault.
What creatively could they do to be better than what they've done with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk?
If you were going to go and you were going to use Kevin Owens as an angle to be Cody Rhodes' next opponent, then when Cody was looking at the ring, because look at the contrast here. Listen to me, guys. Check this out. Cody is up there. He's ready. Solo says, I'm going to go kick your butt. He comes with two guys. and Cody's like in the middle of the ring, and then you got hardcore KO, right? Everybody sees KO. Everybody knows KO is kind of like a
I already
second
know where you're
coming
going with
of
this.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? He comes with the chairs, and he's looking like a badass. And then
he should do a Seth Rollins and hit Cody in the back. Become a heel, KO. Be the normal dipshit stuff that everybody wants.
Exactly. You become that heel. You become
yes,
that
how many
heel.
times can you do that with KO, though? He's done it
become,
to Sami Zayn. He's done it to every tag team partner he's had.
At least that's not going to make him look soft. Oh, my God. I don't deserve the belt because, you know, I haven't won. My win-loss record sucks and all that stuff. Come on, man. Tell me when Stone Cold Steve Austin ever cried like a little baby. They're asking about that. So if you would have been Stone Cold,
first off, he's being real. He's being real. I don't deserve it. Yes.
Get out of here. You get
Cody,
an opportunity to be
is because I helped you battle the bloodline. My win-loss record is not worthy of a title shot, is what he said.
Who gives a damn about your worthiness? You're getting a title shot. You freaking know that you get a title shot. You take advantage of it and you run with it. You don't cry and say, "Oh no, man, I'm sorry, bro. I'm so soft. I don't feel like I've done enough work." What is that crap, man? Go cry me a river, bro. Go somewhere else with that. Go to the back of the line. God damn it!
All right,
what are you talking about?
All right, Jungle Boy.
No, that is terrible. That is terrible storyline.
I'm saying it's beautiful. It's a great thing, but what I'm saying though is at least they gave it a development of Kevin Owens just didn't go, you know what, Cody, you're right. I deserve a title shot.
No, that's what
it showed that he was like, hey, I don't deserve a title shot. But then Nick said, hey, if you don't want it, good, because I'm going to give it to Roman anyways. And he said, no, wait a minute. How the hell does Roman deserve a title shot? What has he done? And the only reason he was able to keep the title as long as he has is because he all had to have his goons beat up everybody as they were about to win it, including myself. So if you're going to give him the title shot, then I'm going to take the title shot.
You want to know something, man? It's sad that Cody doesn't have an opponent out there. And we talked about this because at one point in time, we even thought that Logan Paul was going to be his opponent. He has no opponent out there. So I think Logan's hurt. He literally has to beg KO to become his next opponent. And then when KO said, no, I'm not going to take the shot to be the opponent to wrestle you, Cody goes backstage and asks Nick Aldis, hey, bro, let's both team up together and try to convince this guy to be my opponent. That's how bad the storytelling is right now. And that's how bad the character development on some of these wrestlers are, that you can't find a wrestler to wrestle against Cody Rhodes. You have to beg KO to do it. That's pretty bad. That's pathetic, in my opinion. And
it's not that you begged him. You told him, I want to give you a shot because you helped me on the thing. And I honestly, I think all of this is set up so that when Orton loses on Raw to Gunther, he comes back at Cody, because Cody said in that interview, speaking of not deserving title shot, what do you mean not deserving title shot? Randy Orton's over on Raw facing Gunther. Cody says that on SmackDown. That line exactly. When you talk about people not deserving a title shot, he talks about Randy Orton by name.
But hold on a second. You just finished saying that if, for example, after he's done with Gunther, because we all know that he's not going to lose to Gunther.
Yeah, he's going to lose to Gunther, and he's going to go back to SmackDown, and then I think he's going to turn on.
So yeah, we all know he's going to lose to Gunther. So then you're telling me after he loses to Gunther, he's going to go back to SmackDown, and then he's going to have another a title shot at Cody as well after losing to Gunther as well.
He's going to have AJ Styles
back-to-back losses.
He's going to pull the AJ Styles on this whole thing. He's going to end up pulling the AJ.
I don't think that's.
He's going to end out there hitting RKO out of nowhere on Cody, and it's going to start a feud with him.
That's not. I don't think that's a good look for him. But just like on Monday when he RKO'd Gunther, that was. I don't know why he did that. It's just dumb. I think
I don't understand. How is it? Gunther has told him for 2 weeks, "I'm ready for you. You're not going to be able to catch me with something out of nowhere." One minute he took his eye off to look back at Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton RKO'd him.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's going to get out of Gunther. That pretty much showed us the fight saying, yeah, there's no chance for Randy to win this fight. And that's the issue with it right now. That's going to be the only shot that Randy has.
He's away from beating anybody, though.
He's not going to beat Gunther. We already know this, Sean.
I understand that, but you still, if he hits the RKO out of nowhere, he could put him down for a 3 count, though. I mean,
but he already did it.
Look, Frankie, unless you're going to make new characters out of everybody, like what are they to do? Sign new talent to bring them in? Hey, let's bring in Ricky Starks. He can take on Cody Rhodes.
Come up with better storylines than what you're bringing.
What do you want them to do though, bro? Like, I mean, you sit there and you're like, come up with storylines. Come up with a storyline. Tell me something, bro.
I don't agree with them having to have done the KO on.
Well, then tell me a solution how to do it. Okay, you shouldn't have done RKO. Who should it be?
Nobody should have. They should have not touched each other.
Could you have had leading up to it though? I get it. We can sit here all day and say the writing sucked, the creative sucks. But what would you have done differently?
Okay,
what would have been done differently?
All right, so let's go first back to the KO. On the KO situation, what I would have done differently is I would not have gone ahead and done all that crap of Crybaby and all that stuff. He should have turned on him right there on the spot. Go ahead, and as soon as he goes with the chairs and all that stuff, Cody looks at it, and Cody's looking at the bloodline, and he hits him from the back. And then the bloodline, all they do is they just smile, and they walk to the back, and they have nothing to do with this because they're like, oh, you know what? This guy's doing the dirty work for us. Let him handle it. Let him beat up Cody, and then we'll bounce back after that because we'll be able to take it after he handles Cody and he beats him, all that stuff. We'll go and trounce them and make sure we get the belt from there. That's all you have to do with KO. Nothing about it. What about Randy? Roman Reigns.
Right. Why do you
hold on? You hold on. I'm giving you these storylines.
Let me ask you this.
Different storylines.
Yes, but let me ask you this then. Okay, so now you do that with KO.
Mm-hmm.
You've turned him heel.
Correct.
Okay, so after he loses to Cody, then what?
Wait. I gotta do storylines. You want me to do storylines in the present? I can't predict the rest of them. I'm writing my storylines right now.
But listen, as you write a storyline, it has to make sense to continue to go.
Correct.
You can't just write a storyline that ended at the pay-per-view. It's like, hey, nothing exists. Okay, rewrite Kevin Owens.
But you want me to jump? You want me to jump the gun all the way to the Bash of Berlin?
Well, I want you to understand something though. You've just turned KO heel.
Yes.
Full-fledged heel.
Yes.
No longer a babyface.
Yes. Same crap that you're gonna say that they're gonna do with Randy Orton. Same thing, right? Same concept. Same concept.
I know, but okay, go ahead.
All right. So now let's talk about Roman and the bloodline, right? So you had Roman out there going ahead and trouncing all of them and just making them look all bad. First and foremost, I would have not done that. I would have gone ahead and included Roman some way, somehow in with somebody else. Either it would have been with the bloodline or would have been with Cody or somebody, or would have even brought somebody else. And in addition to that, you know what? I would have already brought in Paul Heyman. Bring Paul Heyman into the storyline. That way, Paul Heyman would have had a bigger dramatic effect. You didn't bring him at SummerSlam, so now you bring him into SmackDown. It gives you more reason to tune in to this Friday SmackDown because you already know Paul Heyman is involved in it and see where they go with that. You understand? I mean, they don't even have to touch. It just could have been Roman and Paul Heyman, and then all of a sudden you see Solo Sikoa look at Roman and be like, "Holy crap, Paul Heyman is back!" And you don't even have to even fight with these guys. All you have to do was just look at them. Like that could have been the way it ended. It literally could have been a segment just like that, with them talking all this crap about the Olafala and all that stuff. And then at the end, Roman comes out with Paul Heyman. And they're like, holy crap. Because now you're reminiscing, hey, look what we did to Paul Heyman. Now what the hell, what are they planning to do on us? Because now they have Paul Heyman on their side. That is what I would have done on SmackDown. I would not have gone ahead and let him lay them out and all that stuff. And make literally right now, I'm going to be honest with you. Roman looks like the biggest baby right now on SmackDown, even bigger than Cody Rhodes. It's terrible, and he's not even he never was a baby. I know they tried so hard, but now they're finally making him into a baby. It's hurting Cody. What you predicted eventually. You're like, my concern was that when Roman comes out, that he was gonna outshine Cody, and it's slowly starting to turn that way. You're having people prefer Roman than Cody Rhodes, in my opinion.
Remember, when they went face to face, they were chanting, "We want Roman." They weren't saying Cody. They weren't saying Solo. They were saying, "We want Roman." I knew this could happen, but my problem with what you're doing on those things is you're making everything happen on like the first SmackDown that he returns.
No, because I'm just going ahead and having them.
Let it play out a little bit. I don't like the fact that they had him lay out everything there, but I'll let it play out. And then also with KO, when you look at that with KO, My only issue is once you turn them heel, full-fledged heel, then what? So that's going to be because, again, my belief is Randy's coming back and turning on Cody as well. So
Okay.
now you have Cody with what?
Okay, let me ask you this. If after the fight between Cody and KO happens, right? Where does KO go from there? If he's not a heel or he's a baby, he's still a baby, right? Where does KO go? Either way, whether he's a heel or whether he's a baby, where does he go?
Either way, but at least what I'm saying though is Cody's got somebody. No, what I'm trying to say is, okay,
My point
you
is
turn KO on Cody Rhodes right now, right? Who are the two people that have his back right now? Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
not right now. Well, only right now is Kevin Owens because Randy Orton is in Raw
Randy
right now.
Orton's over in Raw, but I'm saying who's the people that have had his back is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, those two. Yes.
Those two. But now you're gonna eliminate one, the first SmackDown that you can, and then Randy comes back and does the same thing to him.
That's because you think that he's gonna turn heel on Cody. I don't think he will. I don't think they're gonna put Randy to lose against Gunther and then lose again against Cody. I don't think that he's gonna lose against Gunther. I don't know what turn they're gonna do with Randy when he comes back to SmackDown. I don't think
the Randy match doesn't happen until Survivor Series in November. But I think the turn happens maybe either at Bad Blood or heading in. Actually, it'd have to be Bad Blood because I don't think it'll happen at Bash in Berlin. So it'd have to be the October pay-per-view heading into the Survivor Series in November, the end of November. But I don't see why you would flip KO heel because you don't have that many baby faces on SmackDown.
You don't have so you have tons of heels on SmackDown. So then why in the world is they're having a hard time trying to get Cody an opponent?
Because you have the factions. And you're setting up for the factions to feud with each other. Think about this. The Survivor Series match, if it's War Games, that's 10 individuals in that match, which right now I think we know 5. 5 of them, which is the bloodline, the 4 members, as long as Jacob Fatu is healed, and Roman. That gives you 5 members. You still got to get 5 more members of that match. And again, I've heard everything from the reunion of the old bloodline, and then I've heard of them having Roman team with Cody and Randy and KO, and it's like that makes worse sense than anything because you heard what KO said during this, how he felt about Roman using the bloodline to keep his title. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to see that's what the whole story is going to be. Is the battle of Roman probably having to battle himself to have to, sit on his ego to go back and find help. Because ultimately, I believe when Jacob Fatu returns, the tables turn on Roman laying out the bloodline and they start getting the strength in numbers, and then Roman's going to need help. And where does that help come from?
Again, you're probably right. The only issue is we don't know the extent of the injury to Jacob Fatu.
No, but I got to think that if nothing has come out, it can't be serious. Because you would have heard something by now. I mean, yeah, he was in a walking boot, but I mean, if he's on crutches or something, somebody would know something. I would believe. I mean, again, I'm not, so
I'm not too sure.
Pretty much your SmackDown ratings there. Uh-oh. My little internet just popped on. If I pop off, I'll pop back on. Oh no, it just disappeared.
You're good.
Let's see. Wait a minute. EA Minutes saying I got news about Jacob.
What's up, chat?
Chad? EA Minutes is in as well. I don't know if I ever welcomed him into the chat. I saw him pop in, but I don't know if we were at. He'll be back the end of August, so that'll put him at the October 5th Bad Blood pay-per-view if those reports are accurate. So
they're gonna have to figure out for the next couple of weeks what they're gonna do with the bloodline without Jacob Fatu.
Yep.
Because honestly,
and honestly, if I'm them, I keep Solo and them. If Roman's in the building, I've suspended Solo and the other bloodline from being in the building. Run to the dark room, boardroom scene where they sit there and throw the fingers up, and just have Roman.
Got diminished. It already got diminished, man. It's the bloodline looks hurt. The bloodline looks staggered. The
Yeah, 'cause
bloodline looks.
they have no Fatu right now. Jacob Fatu.
Well, Solo's supposed to be the main guy.
Yeah, but we all know what's going to happen there. I mean,
What they can do is they could start the next SmackDown with the bloodline attacking Roman from behind. Like, don't even let him get inside the ring. Don't let him get inside the building. Just start doing it right off the back. Make him look like you've pushed us to the extreme. What to the extreme bloodline that always at the beginning they tried to do where they were attacking everybody and they didn't give a damn. They were like, hey, we're doing it. And they didn't need Jacob Fatu at that time.
Yeah.
Just go back to that normal self. Go back to the beginning of the bloodline. Go and start wrecking havoc out there, making you guys try to look as good as when you first
yeah,
started.
but I still think that's where I think the new thing that they're doing with them arriving at the building hurts them in those instances. Unless you show Roman, because again, remember it used to be Roman just arriving to the building, and they pull up right as SmackDown starts. And now they do the whole thing of them walking with their bags, pulling up outside with the fans. Tonight they'll be on the show. And it's one of those things to where I agree with you. I mean, that would be a good start to the SmackDown. And then also, you know what that could do too is they do that. Nick Aldis comes out and then bans them from the building after the attack. So now Roman's in the building. You've got the bloodline out, but they've got their attack on them. And then now that's it. They got their attack and they're gone so that Roman won't be able to get
What's your obsession with banning? Like, just
because
let them.
I'm tired of them fighting. Like, bro, if you want me to watch and be involved in Survivor Series and it's a War Games match, I've watched 3 of the 5 guys on the other team get laid out by one guy. I don't need to see that every week. If they get their punches in on Roman first, then you break it up and you send them home. Now Roman can't get a hold of them again, at least on this SmackDown. And then now you can lay out another story or something that you want to do there too.
I mean, I wouldn't mind them going ahead and banning them for that show if that's the case.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Ban them from the arena that night. That's banning from the arena that night.
I thought you just said you wanted to ban them for a while, like for a couple of weeks or something like that. My bad.
No, it's banning them for the night, like what they did supposedly with Drew McIntyre last night, and then CM Punk, and then he showed up. So
they better do something better than what they did.
Jump on to Raw. I guess we'll start with the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. Did you watch that?
Yeah, that was the part where obviously at the beginning where Drew McIntyre was complaining to this guy at the beginning of the Pierce, and then he wanted a match against Gunther, and then he said he was gonna take it into his own hands, and then he did the, how do you call it? He said it scouts code or whatever. I don't even think I think it was funny because I think it was Pat McAfee was the one that said, "Do they even have scouts over there in Scotland?" That was clever. I like that. And then all of a sudden you have obviously what I don't agree with, which was KO. Not KO. Randy putting the RKO on Gunther, and then right after Gunther had Drew McIntyre came out, but then obviously Drew McIntyre got attacked by CM Punk.
Okay.
And then but here's my issue. And I know you guys are gonna be like, damn, Frankie's always complaining. But here's the issue, man.
You're watching too many bad negative podcasts or something, man.
Here's the issue, guys. We were complaining, both you and me, Sean, that they put so much emphasis on the stupid bracelet. And they did. They did put emphasis on the bracelet. Mm-hmm. So now you had to have CM Punk go out there and pretty much justify, hey, it's not about the bracelet, it's about me, about what the bracelet means to me or whatnot. Get over this stupid ass bracelet, bro.
But he's always said that it's not. I mean, it's what the bracelet represents for him, because it's his wife and his dog, which are the 2 most important things to CM Punk.
That dude, but get over it, man. Like, stop it with the bracelet, man. They made a huge mistake keeping the bracelet on after SummerSlam. Like Drew McIntyre, I wish Drew McIntyre would have just grabbed that stupid bracelet.
No, they made the mistake putting Seth Rollins in there, because then you probably could have already at least had this feud with gasoline going instead of what they had to do on Raw last night was add more gasoline to the fire and make it, which I believe is what's going to end up happening down the line somewhere. A strap match is what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah,
it's going to be a strap match.
Clearly, that was going to be a strap match.
And it's like, because now it's going to be like you can't run. You're going to be, it's almost like they're going to have the strap and then you can use it as the weapons and everything else like that. So, but again, they don't need the bracelet there. That's just an added thing. It's like, just like they don't need a title for that feud. That feud has been elevated by Punk and McIntyre so well that they don't need that. I felt like it took a step back at SummerSlam because they had to get Seth Rollins into it. And then ultimately, I guess the whole thing about it was to basically end up doing the next night what they did so that you could write Seth off of TV to heal up. So, like,
we both agreed that bringing in Seth as the special guest referee was the wrong mistake. But then you disagreed with me last week because I said, hey, the stupid thing about Bronson Reed to tagging him left and right and all that stuff. They should have done that before SummerSlam, and they could have probably had that fight in SummerSlam.
Yeah, but they had already written him in, though. You can't. I mean, again, the story was Seth Rollins was the referee because nobody else wanted to referee for Drew McIntyre because he'd been throwing referees around left and right. That's why I said it should have been a last man standing match, and then the referee only has to count to 10 and stay out of the way.
That would have made more sense. You didn't need a referee out there. You didn't need a special guest.
I agree, but they went the route of saying, okay, well then, because they wanted Seth Rollins to be involved in the feud, I believe. Again, a little egg because him and CM Punk got to go after each other and never really, he hit him with the go to sleep, but other than that, they didn't really have a lot of interaction. Then on Raw the next night, they have the interaction, but then McIntyre distracts, or CM Punk goes after McIntyre, and then Bronson Reed comes out and basically writes off Seth Rollins from TV.
Okay. Now,
so
I see what Bounce wrote. He said that the bracelet is CM Punk's heart. I think that makes CM Punk kind of like
of course, it's soft. Go ahead, say it. He's soft too. He's just like Kevin Hart.
Now I do like
Charmin.
Now I do like No Doubt's idea.
SAWFT.
I do like what No Doubt said. That McIntyre should go ahead and sell replicas of the bracelet. That would be smart as hell. That would be awesome if he does that. That's a great heel move right there. When it comes to CM Punk, I just think I don't know where they're going with this because it's obviously the strap matches.
I can tell you where they're going with it. They're going to end up going with it to where Drew McIntyre goes off, and when Seth Rollins comes back, he takes care of Bronson Reed and then looks big, and then it's him and CM Punk. That's the end result. Whether it's going to be at Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, that's the part that I don't know how long they go for, and I don't know how serious the injuries are that are nagging Seth Rollins is. Remember, he went through all that stuff just to get through WrestleMania, and then he was gone for 2 or 3 months, and then he's back, and now he's back out again. Like, I feel like they brought him back just to do that angle and then just sent him back out.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought, man, I honestly feel that after Gunther takes care of Randy Orton, that the next fight should be against Drew McIntyre. So if they do a strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre wins that one as well, and that settles the feud. And he moves on to go after Gunther. That's what they need to do. They need to stop with if this is the last hurrah between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That strap match and call it a day. I don't want them to extend it anymore. It got burned out because of the whole SummerSlam and the stupid bracelet situation. I don't
think the bracelet thing is like, because here's the thing. It's not going to stop until CM Punk gets the bracelet back.
That's so dumb.
So
that's so dumb. Wait, I like I told you, I wish he would have put on the bracelet at SummerSlam and then took it off and dropped it on the floor and just walked out. He already took care of business. It just has nothing to do with CM Punk, but they dragged the storyline again.
I think what ultimately you're going to get in the strap match is CM Punk winning and then sliding the bracelet off and leaving with the bracelet, and it's done.
Yeah, it could go that route. I'm not gonna lie. But then after that, who does CM Punk go after? Seth Rollins, I guess that would be. But you want to build Seth Rollins, or
it depends on Seth's back. I guess what you could technically do. Again, I don't know how long Seth Rollins is out, But at Survivor Series, what if it was Gunther versus CM Punk for the title? And then you have Seth Rollins cost CM Punk.
Damn, but so you say after CM Punk defeats Drew McIntyre, let's say in a strap match, that the next opponent CM Punk should go after is Gunther?
I mean, he just beat Drew McIntyre, who said he should have gotten a title shot because he beat CM Punk. So storyline wise, it would make sense. I just beat Drew McIntyre.
Maybe. I guess you could say.
I'm just saying that way because then now you got it to where, okay, CM Punk is going to be set up to win a title, you would think, and then Seth Rollins costs him the title. And then now you have the whole Seth and CM Punk thing. But then again, I think that might be a little bit too early. I think you might get CM Punk against Gunther at like Royal Rumble and then Seth costing him there. And then you head to WrestleMania, CM Punk and Seth Rollins. So I don't know where the injuries figure in, and I don't know how serious the injuries are. I know he said there's some nagging injuries and things like that. So I don't, that's the thing like where I'd have to look at, because again, now you look at what they're doing right now, especially like your new champions. When you looked at what happened in SummerSlam, LA Knight won the title. Nia wins the title. Braun Breaker gets the title. You're looking at a lot of new champions. And then Braun Breaker last night on Raw keeps the title, and then the whole thing with Sammy afterwards, so Sammy can move on. So
we knew that was going to happen.
No, exactly. Clearly. But it's just like, where does all that figure in? Because honestly, like to me, Braun Breaker with the IC title is kind of a hindrance. Not saying that he doesn't, deserve a title or anything like that, but to me, you could figure him in up and down for a opponent for Gunther, but with the Intercontinental title, I don't think you do, because now he's got his own part.
For me, Gunther goes against Randy Orton. Gunther eventually beats him, and then once he beats him, the surprise, the song, the same way Roman came out for the whole situation of the bloodline and all that stuff for the SmackDown roster, I think that's when you hit the cue and you get the return of my boy Brock Lesnar, and you have Brock Lesnar versus Gunther out there, baby. That's what you need. Bring back Brock Lesnar. He would be a perfect heel or baby for Gunther, and nobody is expecting Brock Lesnar back. So that is what they should do next. That's what
I guess my question would be this
storyline would do.
So are they feeding Brock Lesnar to Gunther?
Or you're feeding, because Gunther is saying that he's the superior one. Nobody could beat him. So if he could take on and beat Randy, why can't he go ahead and take on Brock Lesnar? Make it happen, baby. Show us what you got.
I don't know. That's a Vince McMahon move there. That's a Vince
McMahon move.
Yeah,
that's a great story. You want his storytelling?
Brock Lesnar is his Darby Allin. In case of emergency, break glass. We need ratings or something. Bring out Lesnar. That was the whole thing.
Darby Allin is
it all the time.
How dare you compare Darby Allin to Brock Lesnar? First and foremost,
I'm not comparing them as far as draws or anything like that. What I'm saying though is, whenever Tony Khan needs somebody, who's the person they bring back? Darby Allin.
They bring other people.
When VKM needs somebody, who's the person they bring back? Cue the music.
Damn, I wish we had the song.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have thought about it beforehand.
but at this point, we just haven't seen Brock Lesnar.
I just
in a long
don't
time.
know that
So you got to bring him back.
Yeah, but I just
bring him.
Look, man, with the stuff that's going on outside of them with that case still, I don't know that you bring that back in with them being mentioned in that case. I don't know.
I would bring him back. Wrestling fans figure out ways to forget really quickly.
I'm not talking about wrestling fans. I'm talking about just bringing that on to TKO and the stocks and everything else, because now you have somebody that's implemented in a sex trafficking case. Brock Lesnar was named in the case, not a executive 1, executive 2 type thing. He was named in the case. Like,
look, even our third member, EA Man.
I look, man.
Comes back. Exactly.
Whatever you guys, if you think that's what they should do, I just think that is going to be very interesting. And then again, probably will happen, but
and it will
I'm just-
elevate Gunther because you're still gonna get Brock
Yeah,
Lesnar.
I know how Brock Lesnar has been, and he wants, good pay and money, and he wants to be in charge. Is he going to say, okay, pay me good, and I'll just come in and lose to Gunther? I don't know how that's going to work, man.
At this point in time, maybe he does, because remember, he has that whole scandal going on for him. So right now, he can't pick and choose his fights. He has to kind of like lay low and be like, look, I'm just happy that they're calling me back. So if I was him, I would shut my mouth up and be like, okay, yeah, I'll come. It'll give you guys a good pop, and I'm back. And then it'll start to simmer down the whole, scandal that my name unfortunately was dropped into it. So
we'll see.
That's not a bad idea, though. You want a storyline for Frankie Fresco? You got him, sir. Bring in Brock, baby.
No, I mean, those are good, but my only question then would be, okay, you bring back Lesnar, he loses to Gunther. As I ask you every time, where does it go from there?
You could go.
It's like KO, you turn him heel. Where do you go from there?
You could either go to
who's the baby face after he loses to Cody? Who's the baby face for KO to fight?
You could go with Drew McIntyre because he wants a piece of the title. You just finished saying that you could go with CM Punk for a title shot as well.
They're on Raw though. That's again, we're talking.
You have Seth Rollins. If by that time, hopefully he's back and healthy, he should be able to ask for it. You could even, if Bronson Reed gets over Seth, you could bring Bronson Reed into the match because there's some battles with him and Gunther. You got previous feuds when he went against Sami Zayn, when he went against Chad Gable. You have Jey Uso. You could bring that back. Gunther's been wrestling all these guys. There's plenty of other wrestlers out there for Gunther. It's just making sense from the storyline perspective of the Monday Night people who handle that. And as of right now, they went with the Randy Orton route. Okay, great. But then they mess it up by letting Randy go ahead and give him the RKO, which for me was the wrong decision. You don't do that.
I don't,
because it's the act of surprise. Now he could take that. Now when they fight one-on-one, we already knew that Gunther was going to win. Now there's nothing that's going to beat Gunther. Gunther already felt it. He's like, I felt it. And he rolled out of the ring and everything.
Man, how do you watch wrestling?
With both of my eyes.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Gunther said, you'll never be able to hit me with an RKO. Bam, he hit him with the RKO. You don't remember what happened when Paul Heyman stood in the middle of the ring and said, Brock Lesnar, this, Randy Orton, you'll never touch him with an RKO. You'll never do this with this. You'll never touch him with an RKO. What happened? Randy Orton came out, hit Brock Lesnar with RKO, and everybody said, oh my goodness, it can happen. That's what they put into the wrestling fans' mind. All it takes is one, and he can put Gunther down and win the belt. That's all they put in the mind of wrestling fans. That's
it also gave the idea to wrestling fans that he did the RKO now, so that means Gunther can handle it, can take it, and most likely that's the only victory Randy Orton was going to have over Gunther. Because
you don't build up a tolerance because you've taken it already.
Yes, it can. Why not? You've taken it. You already know what to expect. You know how it feels. Of course you can.
Yeah, but you don't know when you're going to hit it.
It's like if you're eating something spicy, like a hot jalapeno, and you taste it that first time.
God damn, you listen to Jim Cornette and people too much, man.
The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth time, I already know what to expect because I already had the jalapeno the first time.
Let's build up a tolerance to RKOs. Randy Orton, come RKO me 7 times, so then the next time you hit me, I can just stand up. Doesn't happen that way.
Look at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has to do his crossroads like 15,000 times in order to defeat somebody. So apparently, those guys are finding tolerance because he needs to hit it 3-4 times in order for him to win. But no, let's not.
He wants to hit 3 in a row.
That's his new thing. Okay. Yeah.
No, but I mean, dude.
Okay.
I mean, come on, bro. Come on.
No, come on. I'm telling you the truth. You're saying the same thing.
Yeah, but now you're telling me, okay, because he hit Gunther with one RKO, Gunther's never going to be able to take another one now anyways.
I mean, he'll take another one, but he already knows how to handle it.
Cancel the match then. Cancel the match. Bash in Berlin match. Gunther versus Randy Orton off the table now. That's official.
You want to know why it should be official? Because we already know Gunther's going to win.
We knew Gunther was going to win before they even mentioned it was Randy Orton.
Why even have the match if that's the case, Sean?
So why have wrestling? Why have wrestling?
Because you need to have an act of surprise. What I said last week.
How many times have you said this person is winning? Why do we do predictions? Because we know who's going to win. Bring on the water.
We already know who's going to win. I told you we create these damn illusions because we want to see more. And Triple H and whoever's writing these storylines are just basically keeping it on what I said last week. And you guys can go ahead and even put me on there. That's what my nickname will be. A straight line, baby. That's what he's doing. He's keeping it a straight line. Nothing deviates from it. Nothing. And people go, wow, oh my God, amazing. This is so good. This wrestling is, Triple H is doing an amazing job. He's doing the same crap, just a little bit better.
This, bro. Like, you write
Big
TV
deal.
for the week of. You write AEW TV. We're going this week.
I'm not writing AEW TV. If I was writing AEW TV this week, I would have made millions for AEW.
That's what you want to happen, though, on WWE. You want all the answers in 1 week.
I don't want all the answers in 1 week. I'm just saying you need to develop better storytelling and better
How do
character
you know where it's going to
development.
end up from today to Bash in Berlin? How do you know where it's going to end up?
You want to go into a match where you bring in some doubt, just like when you and me are talking and
He
we're going.
just hit an RKO on Gunther. You can hit him. He said, "You'll never be able to get me with an RKO." He just did it. Why can't he do it again?
And then what happened? He rolled out of the ring, and so did this guy. And then they focused on CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Nothing. They didn't do anything else.
What are they supposed to do? Hit him with an RKO and then pick him up and body slam?
He should have never gone ahead and connected with the RKO. When he went and tried to get the RKO, he should have pushed him and be like, "Oh crap, you still have." Oh, we don't know if Randy's going to be able to connect the RKO on Gunther.
Let me push him out of the ring and roll out into Drew McIntyre and CM Punk.
No, he pushes him out of the ring. All of a sudden, he turns his focus on Drew McIntyre, and then CM Punk attacks Drew McIntyre, and then Gunther just be like, "Okay, this is their business. I don't want to get involved in this crap," and he walks away. What's wrong with that? That's happened before in other feuds. Why are you complicating it? It's what I'm trying to tell you.
He hit an RKO to show that I can put you down when I want to put you down.
Let's just. I am one that will say that as of right now, there's a lot of mistakes when they're doing their storyline. They brought in Seth Rollins as the guest referee. They let Randy Orton hit the RKO on Gunther. They went ahead and they carried that stupid bracelet, and they're still keeping that dumb bracelet into that storyline. They're doing all this stuff. They allowed Roman to lay out the whole Bloodline 2.0 and make him look soft. KO's crying out there saying that he doesn't deserve, like, give him a warm milk. Why won't you do that? Give him a little bit of warm milk, baby. That's what they need. Jesus Christ. How
and Cap for Life, you're right. CM Punk is putting on some size. You've been hitting the gym, buddy. Been hitting that gym.
Either that or some roids, baby. Either that or some roids.
Nah, he's clean. He's clean.
Just saying. It's just that bracelet. Yeah, man. That bracelet sucks, man. They need to get rid of that crap.
What do you mean?
So then,
dude, what?
You know what they should do? I know what they should do. They should bring in Odyssey Jones, baby. Odyssey Jones, bring him in. Let him challenge Gunther, baby.
That is going to. Hey, you know what? Maybe. But it's gonna be interesting to see because they've teased this New Day breakup for like the last feels like 3 years. It feels like it's been forever that they've teased that Xavier Woods and Kofi were going to break up, and what has ever happened? But Odyssey Jones, it's very, very interesting to see the big man. Although it's kind of dimmed my hope on that Big E returns.
Yeah, well, minutes. I'll see you later, man.
Minutes, yes, sir. Logging out. I see you. 8 a.m. in the Philippines, man. That's awesome. We're happy you bring us on every Tuesday at 8 a.m.
Well, I will tell you this.
Tell me, Frankie Fresco.
I like the fact that Karrion Kross mentioned Big E for a minute there, but then he screwed it over by saying I focused it on it's really that he's replacing Xavier Woods. I was like, damn it. For a minute there, I thought they were going to go with that angle, and eventually they're going to bring Big E back some way, somehow into it. But then he said that crap, and I was like, God damn it. Because you know what I liked about that? The authenticity of it. He basically said what a lot of us was thinking. Like, damn it, it should have been Big E out there.
Everybody wanted Big E, and he said, no, you're replacing Big E. And then he goes, no, I can tell by your look, Xavier. You know the truth. You see the truth. Odyssey is replacing you.
Damn, I hate it when he said that, bro.
Why? I thought it was great, man.
I wish no, because I thought, the whole Big E thing. I thought they were gonna try to figure out a way to bring him in, and I thought that was a great way to kind of.
I think my worst feelings have been realized. I just don't think Big E. I said EA because I was looking at the chat. I don't think Big E's going to be able to return, man. Because my thing is this: if that is the case, do they work it to where Big E comes back as a heel, the team with Xavier to take on Odyssey and Kofi?
Yes.
Like
yes, bring him in as a heel, or no, you bring him in as a baby. You know what? You could bring in Big E with a baby, team up with Xavier Woods, and then it'll be Xavier Woods, Big E versus Odyssey Jones and Kofi Kingston.
But they're babies too.
No, well, now you got to pick and choose. Which side are you going with? Are you going to go with Xavier Woods? Because right now, if you look at Kofi is like honestly kind of like pushing Xavier Woods. I like the fact that they're breaking him the New Day. It was about damn time.
But see, I don't know that they are, man. They, like I said, they've been doing this for 3 years and have never pulled that last little bit to be like, boop, okay, the Band-Aid's ripped off. That's always been like, oh, you know what? There's still a little Neosporin there. Let's put the Band-Aid back on. It always gets to one point and then they just don't do it.
Or maybe when they're about to break off and they're about to feud and all that stuff, that's when Big E comes back and he's like, oh,
Big E brings them back. Oh, God. Could you imagine that tag team?
He
Big
brings it back
E
together.
and Odyssey Jones together.
Jesus, those are two big boys right there.
But
it would be good. It would be a good way for Big E to make his return because you're right about that. They can't bring Big E as a heel. They got to bring him as a baby.
He's coming back as a baby, man. But then again, you kind of hit on something there too, where again, if they don't do it where they pull the Frankie Fresco turn and Xavier Woods comes in with chairs galore and beats Kofi and Odyssey, but then if he starts turning around and being like, Kofi, you turned on me, you ran me off. I didn't do it the other way around. Now you start having the fans picking and choosing, as you said. As long as, Xavier don't turn around and DDT Kofi on a chair or something like that. If you start doing that way, then you make them choose. And then you can bring Big E back. And then, again, I think once Big E comes back, though, that shifts all the momentum to if it's Xavier Woods and Big E, they have all the momentum going forward. But that'd be a hell of a match to watch.
It would. It would be a good way. But again, we don't know the extent of Big E. We don't know if he's going to go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's just wishful thinking because once they brought the New Testament out with the New Day, my whole time I was just like, oh, Big E this would be perfect to have the third person. Because, again, my thought process was, okay, Kofi and Xavier are going to take a beating for a while. And then the Savior, Big E, comes back. And, I didn't get it. I'm not upset about it, but, it's one of those things to where could it happen? And, yeah, I guess Otis and Obafemi, we saw that a little bit last night. Obafemi was at the ringside when Otis – and I thought that match was pretty good, too, the Texas Tornado match.
I thought it was good, but they had a couple of blunders here and there.
A couple of blunders, and then also my thing was without Chad there, I thought that was a time to put Alpha Academy over. Instead, they had Ivy Nile do the turn.
I like the Ivy Nile
on Maxine Dupree, which I don't mind, but with Chad not there, I thought that was the chance. Again, if you want to make Alpha Academy seem like they're there, but then again, when you look at it the other way, the Creed brothers just lose to the Wyatt Six last week.
100%.
Not them, but Chad got pinned. But now you had them lose back-to-back weeks. And how does that make the new American made team look going forward? So it was kind of one of those things to where, and I just don't think it hurts Otis with him, the way they've been picking up the wins. Again, last night was, if you watched it, it's just a roll-up and they got the victory. So it wasn't like they're laying them out or anything. But, again, little things here and there that happens. And, like I said, Obafemi was at ringside when Otis walked up. So I'm believing in at least what Cap for Life says. Otis wants the NXT belt. I don't think
he's gonna win it, but definitely right now you got Joe Henry out there, and it looks like he wants a belt too.
Yeah, everybody's gonna want the belt. So, all right, time to switch over. Stay with us, people. Stay with us.
This next segment is sponsored by Taco Bell.
It is 100%. Taco Bell, baby.
We need to put the Taco Bell sponsorship of Taco Bell.
Yeah,
here,
as
bro.
we're doing the show, we'll just start running Taco Bell ads through
Man,
the middle of it.
that was something.
I don't know if that was planned or if it wasn't planned.
Come on, Sean, that was not.
I'm going to say it wasn't planned because you have heard nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a plan or a way to work an angle out of it, I believe they would have already said something about it or done something with it.
That was terrible, man.
It was the craziest thing. You got Jack Perry talking about the stuff. It says, you got to make sacrifices, and it goes right to the $7 Lux meal at Taco Bell, right back into Jack Perry talking.
Hell of a Lux deal
of the Taco Bell commercial.
They gained my interest, bro. I really, I'm a Taco Bell type of guy, so I run for the border. So I definitely go, and when they sponsored it and they promoted it, I was like, damn. Kudos to AEW. They got my heart right there right now. Just when I thought they had lost me, they got me right back.
Yep. And then with that, you used to get Gas X or whatever else you're going to need. And then Cap for Life, real quick, said Chad says recruiting. Yeah, he was at the Olympic Games in
talking about that. I know you had mentioned on your recap, but I still think the White Sick is going to continue with the Chad, because remember, Chad, while he was recruiting, he does drop saying that he has still things to fix against the Y6. So I think that feud is still going to continue as well.
All right. Well, maybe I just think, I don't know how you do that with how solid the win was the week before. Like, and you pinned him. That was the thing. Like, if you pinned one of the Creeds, then Chad still got a gripe, but you pinned him. We'll see where that goes. And then also, what I didn't hear last night, and I apologize.
Taco Tuesday. Yes, sir. Cap for Life. Taco Tuesday, baby.
Yep. But what I wanted to say real quick was I did not hear when Michael Cole said Dakota Kai suffered a meniscus tear, so she's out 6 to 8 weeks. I didn't hear that on the Raw broadcast. I might have skipped over it, or I got up to leave when they were talking about it. So she is out 6 to 8 weeks. I did see the part where Io Sky said, you took something from us, we're going to take something from you, but then it ended up being nothing, because now everybody's going to be in a triple threat tag team title match next Monday. But let's stay now with AEW, and we just talked about the Taco Bell. Frankie, I just want to get some of your thoughts, man, okay?
Yeah.
Let's look at right now. It's supposedly, and again, going off of what people are reporting, everybody has their own different stories, different takes on it. Right now, it looks like Ricky Starks is on his way possibly to WWE when the contract expires.
That's correct.
Apparently, his contract hasn't expired. My question would be, why the hell aren't you using him?
Because he's going to WWE. He probably already told AEW, I'm not re-signing with you guys. So Tony Khan just to,
But see, this is where you get in trouble, because I believe Ricky Starks has creative control, and now you can't use him to build up anybody else. Because the story is, and again, they wanted to do a story where Big Bill turned on him and then built up to, I think, the Jericho learning tree. And Ricky Starks did not go for it. So now you have it where now you had to have that. Again, it's worked out fine. But back then it was like, what the hell happened? They were tag team champions 1 week. They lose the belts. All of a sudden, Big Bill's in the learning tree. There was no jump to how the hell everything happened there. So, you just had that little bit of a hiccup there. And then that, I think everything smoothed out on that one. The next one I want to ask you about is Daniel Garcia.
Where is he at?
There is talk that he's going to resign, but there's been no talk that he has signed. And you did an angle with him and MJF. And then this week on TV, you did another angle with Kyle Fletcher involved. And then you have MJF against Will Ospreay at All In. And I wonder if this is anywhere in the storyline, because the reason I asked this is because Daniel Garcia was put out by MJF, but then Kyle Fletcher's laying there bleeding, and Don Callis looks at Will Ospreay as they're going off camera. It's the last thing before they go to the commercial. He says, "Where were you for him?" As Kyle Fletcher's laying there bleeding in from MJF. The other question I got is this, and did you watch Dynamite at all?
Yeah, of course. I
didn't
segment.
know if you went. I know there's pieces and things where you saw, but I didn't know if you watched it, because I think they messed up on the Will Ospreay getting out of the room. Because Will Ospreay,
Yeah, they put like cases in front of
it, but he ends up getting out of the room, right?
Then
they go to a commercial break or picture in picture. I'm sorry, AEW does picture in picture. Okay. So they're fighting there. Then they come back and he does the pin. Then he beats him down, and Will Ospreay's still nowhere to be found. I don't know how big this backstage area is, but or Will Ospreay's very slow runner. But I think they might have stitched it in too quickly or something. I don't know what.
Or maybe Will Ospreay wanted Cuffler to get beat up like that, and he took his time to get there.
Well, the other question is who put the rolling things in front of Will Ospreay's?
I mean, technically, it should be MJF. Obviously, that's
no. I think it was Callis. I think Callis is doing it.
But if Callis did that, wasn't he in the broadcast when he was?
He was, but what about the rest of the Callis family?
There's still a Callis family? I thought it was only.
I believe there is. Yes, because there's still Roosh who had to fight Preston Vance 10.
Oh, these exciting matches
last week, and then you have Beretta, who is injured, but maybe they ghosted him, put it there in front there too. But overall, I just wonder what's going to happen with this MJF.
If I was Don Callis, I would recruit Mortals, baby.
I believe that's next. And then the funny thing was, and I believe I don't know if they took this from anybody, but Fightful said that since the international title has been renamed the American title, it has been defended more internationally than ever before.
It makes sense because you want to promote the United States around the world. And especially with the Olympics going on, it's always going to, and remember, he's a heel. So people are going to boo him because not only is he a heel, but he's also representing the United States. Go to Mexico, you're going to root for a Mexican, not an American, right?
And he went to Rev Pro, fought, and Will Ospreay made the save there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that. That I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. That happened over the weekend. So, again, it's interesting to see because, again, that's one of the stories they're pushing. There's some good stories, and I talk about them on my recast because I like the story of the MJF Ospreay. I love the Tony Storm Mariah May. I felt they might have went the wrong way with it, but now watching how this is unfolding, I thought it was very interesting. Mariah May gets presented with a poster. She's looking at the poster. It's a picture of her and Tony, all friendly. And on the back, she wrote, "Die, Mariah, die." And then she attacks Mariah. And,
they're making Tony look kind of psychotic out there, though.
Yeah, it feels like she went psychotic now on the thing, which I think ultimately might cost her the title. And then because if you do I feel like Mariah's got to win the belt. Like if you do all this to build up Mariah and then she goes and loses to Tony Storm, I just feel like that. Then what happens with one, the Tony Storm character? And two, what do you do with Mariah May after that?
That's true.
That's why I was saying the turn, I believe, should have happened. Because that, to me, that's a deeper stab wound because you turn on her at All In and you win the title when she thinks it's going to be a, respecting. But also, I thought the same thing could have happened and elevated MJF as well. And you can't do everything at All In. I understand that as well. But I felt like, some of the times they do the turn so quickly so that they can have a heel versus face. I feel like AEW's afraid to go gray. They want a heel and they want a face. They want you to know who to not like and who to like. Although, and I used the Bryan Danielson Swerve thing. Like Swerve's starting to hit a little bit below the belt on Bryan Danielson on some of the things he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like, like they're trying to push where Bryan is the baby face and all this. Like even this week on Dynamite, I believe they're having a tribute for Bryan Danielson heading into All In. I don't know why you're doing a tribute for him heading into All In, but it is what it is. But I feel like they always have to have the heel face. It's got to be, it's black and white. There's no gray. And I feel like sometimes that's where they get, what also too, and it just popped up here. I forgot. There's been talk that the Lucha Brothers might be heading to WWE.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yes, they are. That would be cool. I would like Penta going. I mean, I like it and I don't, because here's the situation with what tends to happen. Those are not WWE wrestlers, so I just don't want them to come and then they kind of get forgotten, and then eventually they don't do. And right now, you have a lot of guys with mask on. You feel me? So I don't know how you would implement them all together. You got Rey Mysterio. The Lucha Brothers are never going to be as big as Rey Mysterio, in my opinion. They should, but I mean, you could probably team them all up. But look, you saw what happened with this guy who teamed up with Rey Mysterio. So it's like, do you want mass? Do you want some of these luchadors making their way over to WWE and they'll be able to excel in WWE? I don't know, man. I like the opportunity. I think they're gonna make good money over there, way more than what they get paid in AEW.
That's interesting, because I believe they might make more at AEW if they bargained, if they bartered hard enough. I believe you could have negotiated better. And again, it's going to be interesting because their style does not match with what we know of WWE style.
And they're high flyers.
Now on a pay-per-view, you're going to see the flipping and the flying, but I wonder on Raw, SmackDown, I don't think you see as much of that anymore from them. And does that hurt them? How much does it hurt them?
Well, okay, I'll give you an example here. What happened to Andrade Idolo? Andrade Idolo, when he was in AEW, he would do a lot of high-flying stuff and all that stuff. In WWE, he kind of slows it down a little bit. But has his character developed to the point where you're like, yes, I'm sold into Andrade Idolo? No, they are giving him an opportunity. Now that he won on, I think it was on SmackDown, against this guy, Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, he beat Carmelo again, yep.
But that, again, you're not getting that pop. I mean, look, man, it just sucks for AEW, because if AEW would be, the fact that they allow the wrestlers to do these acrobatic moves and all stuff is amazing. It's great. It just sucks that they don't have really good storytelling or find ways to like engage the fans into that character, because dude, it would be really, really good wrestling. It would be really more fun than just the in-ring wrestling.
People to invest in somebody until they can feel your pain or feel your joy. I mean, that's what happened. Like Swerve, people felt his drive to win the title. You know,
but then it died. But it died down.
Those are things that you can come into and emotionally invest into. I can't emotionally invest into 66 super kicks. Tombstone pile driver off the top rope. You kick out at 2, 3 more super kicks, a running knee. You kick out at 1, and then at that point you're Superman.
Yeah,
I can't invest in you because there's nothing that can hurt you. I don't see any pain, and that's where I get to with the whole with Jade, and I saw it this week too. Again, is like, and again, maybe it's me, but like when she's in control, I can get behind her character. But when she's getting beat down, I don't feel that she's really getting beat down. I don't see the pain in her face. I don't see the agony a little bit of her trying to get up, because as soon as she gets a chance, boom, she springs up to her feet, makes a tag. She doesn't really sell that well. And that's
she's Storm. She's not supposed to be able to get hurt. She's supposed to be able to be the Hercules, or the female version of Hercules.
Hercules.
Yes, sir. That's the reason why. That's why she can't. When she gets hit, she only gets a little bit staggered.
Why you can't get invested so much into her, because look, if you
can't
get hurt or anything, then how am I going to emotionally invest in you? Because you're not going to ever get hurt.
Hold on. I wouldn't say that we don't get emotionally invested on Jade. The problem is, and I'm sorry, but are you invested right now in Bianca? No, they both are like middle of the tier girls right now, because they have them as tag team.
Look, my investment can give 2 shits if they're winning or losing. My investment is, do I believe that she's getting her ass kicked right now? I know she's not.
She's a Storm.
Do I believe that she is? Because with Bianca, I can see the pain in her face when she's getting beat down. I can see the struggle when she's trying to pull herself up the ropes. So you can invest, you can emotionally invest in that. The problem I have is this: you're getting beat down for 5 minutes, you do a suplex, you spring up to your feet, and you jump and you make a tag. Like, sell the suplex for a minute. Let the fans get into it.
But you're criticizing her. You're criticizing her for selling it. But who's her opponents? Like Alba Fire and Nyla Dawn. What's her name? Something Dawn. Isla Dawn. Let's keep it real. Those two girls are not in the same
Frankie, it doesn't matter.
as Jade Cargill.
To just kick you for 5 minutes, you're still going to have some pain.
I mean, yes, I get it. I get that it shouldn't matter the opponent. I mean, it's wrestling.
And again, that's what I'm saying with the Jade. That's where my disconnect is with Jade.
I think you just don't like Jade.
When she's winning, dude, I can feel like that's you can get invested in it. The problem is when she's having to sell those to sell it.
You just don't like Jade. That's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting from you.
That's not true.
You don't like Jade. It's fine, and it's not a problem.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
I like Jade. I think Jade.
That's not true at all. I like everything about Jade. I think she's going to be a star.
I think she sells it perfect. She sells her.
I don't believe so.
When she is winning, she sells it really well, and when she is hurting, she doesn't have to sell it really well because she is the Storm. So until then, she could take a punch and all that stuff, and she's fine with it. When she went against Nia Jax, she took a hit with Nia Jax and was knocked out.
She took 6 minutes of damage and double suplex both of them, and then sprung up to her feet. Then how do I invest emotionally that she's getting beat up, or I believe that she's struggling in this fight to get behind her because I want to see her get back up when I know she's just going to get back up?
Because she's gonna get backed up because she's a Storm. She's being built as like, the biggest strength out there. That's the reason why. So
what happens when a cold front comes in and swerves the Storm out?
That's when you need like somebody like a Nia Jax, or you need like a Bianca Belair, another big powerhouse that's gonna be able to take her down. And if then she can't sell her pain or getting hit or struggling, then I would agree with you 100%.
But if she doesn't sell it, then that hurts them. Like that's what. Again, man, wrestling's a dance, bro. Wrestling's a dance. When you're doing the selling that way, you're showing for what you said exactly right there. Who's Isla Dawn and Alba Fire? Well, yeah, because you've got people just bouncing up after getting beat up by them. So why am I going to believe that they're ass kickers or they can do any damage? Because I watch everybody take a beating from them and then just reach up, tag, and then win.
Don't you think Alba
it
Fire
works both ways?
Isla Dawn and Alba Fire kind of were given those belts a little bit too quick, in my opinion. Those women championship belts, I think that was too quick, man.
You go back through all this stuff, like
I thought they gave them to him too quickly, and I know we're supposed to be talking AEW, but I'm telling you right now, I think they gave it to him too quickly, man. I think they
didn't. They gave them to him as placeholders. They're placeholders until they're going to put them back onto so that Bianca and Jade don't have them for 12 months in a row. You could
have found somebody else to do it. I don't know who, but you could have figured something out to give it to Chelsea Green and this other girl that are always together. They could have done that. They could have been the placeholders. There's different people you could have used.
You have to remember they were the Bailey matches. So how could they have been the tag team champions as well?
Well, they could have done it by now. They're not anymore in the Bailey feud anymore because Bailey's been knocked out by Nia Jax.
Yeah, but ultimately, I think, and that's the interesting thing too, is I wonder what they're going to do with Tiffany, because her and Chelsea keeps going at her, and I don't know what they're doing there.
See, guys, this is how good AEW is, that we find ways to divert back to WWE.
I do have a question for you, though.
Uh-oh.
And
it better be a Tony Khan question.
This is being dead serious, and I want the chat to dive into this. The Trappia, welcome into the chat, buddy. I'm sorry I didn't see you there for a minute. Please hit the like button either way. Pure Fusion Collective, yes, they've given them a name.
Look, he says AEW is like the Marlins and WWE is like the Yankees. WWE getting all of AEW heavy hitters. That's a good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah, but the Marlins gave them away. AEW is not giving them away. They're just leaving.
That's a good point too. I like. That's a good one. Yeah, they are choosing to leave.
Yeah, they're choosing to leave, not stay.
Probably because they know that ship is sinking very quickly.
I think what they're realizing is that Yes,
And
AEW is an alternative.
wait,
And it's not going to go anywhere because Tony Khan's got the money there and they're getting a TV deal and all that stuff. But
and not only that, and sorry to cut you off, but they also are realizing that they're moving some of those guys to NXT and they're being used correctly in NXT. I think that's the other reason
that's
why.
the thing, though, is I think when you go to WWE, you'll get used properly. The problem is you have your John Moxleys who want to bleed. Well, you're not going to go to WWE and just be able to bleed every match. So he goes to AEW, he gets freedom. Chris Jericho wants to reinvent himself 1,500 times a year. That's fine. Go to AEW, reinvent yourself. Samoa Joe, WWE wasn't going to allow you to wrestle. You want to wrestle, you go wrestle. Same with Bryan Danielson.
But notice,
it's an alternative for those guys to be able to work. And freedom. I mean, look, for everything that we say bad about AEW is they do allow those, but I feel like they have lost control and it's turned into what WCW was, where everybody has creative control. And then now when you go to somebody who's like, hey, we need to elevate this guy. Oh, I'm not doing it.
The problem with what I'm noticing in AEW, man, is that a lot of their younger talent is leaving and they're sticking and keeping the older talent because the older talent already been and done the WWE side. So those guys
WWE may not have the interest in them like they do the young people because they're like, well,
look, you had Ethan Page, you had Sean Spears, you had Alexis King. All these guys are still pretty young. They're not that old, right? I think Sean Spears is young. I don't think he's that old.
Yeah, but Sean Spears had already been in WWE.
Correct.
So had Ethan Page had a tryout, and then he had another one.
But those guys have made their way over there with the opportunity of them being able to flourish. The guys you mentioned, Christian Cage, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, all these guys already came from
Adam
the WWE world. All those guys came from the
there was
WWE
nothing else
world.
they could do at the WWE level. So now let's go somewhere else. And hey, look, if Adam Copeland would have went into AEW and all of a sudden numbers went through the roof, that's an accomplishment for him.
I'm telling you right now,
but I mean, if things could turn around a little bit, maybe some of them get.
The problem with the Rated R Superstar is that he got hurt, man, and his. I mean, it sucks because
again, if he's in WWE, are they allowing him to jump off the cage?
Of course not. Not especially not at his age. Hell no, they would not do that.
Yeah.
But he wants. That's the problem. You give him that freedom, and it might backfire. But if you pay close attention right now, look at the guys that you're talking about. Ricky Stark is another guy who might leave. He's still young. You don't know about Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia might eventually be like, hey, I might leave too. If Danny Garcia gets offered a good contract to go to WWE, why not, dude? The kid is young. Yeah, the kid has opportunity. I would do it.
My question would be this, man.
They were going after MJF.
He reminds me of Javon Evans. Because I don't feel like he's got that build yet, but he has all the tools, if that makes sense. Like Javon Evans, you watch him on NXT and you're like, damn, what can't this guy do? But then you go, okay, could you throw him in a match against Braun Breaker?
That's a good point that DiTrapio said. Just to throw it out there. He did create the hottest.
Oh, yeah, he did. Now. Yeah.
But I don't see him as Javon Evans. I think Javon Evans is more.
I mean, size-wise, he's got to.
Yeah, size-wise, yeah.
Like he needs to get bigger. He has the tools, and that's why I said, I felt Tony Khan and them made a mistake making him the focal point for MJF on the turn, because I don't believe if you would have done the turn in Buffalo in his hometown, maybe they're invested enough to where MJF gets that huge gasoline scumbag reaction. But you didn't. You built him up in Buffalo, and then the following week is when you turn on him, and he puts him out in, I don't know where the hell he was at, and everybody there didn't have the same reaction for Daniel Garcia. Yeah, they were upset that he put him out, but it wasn't the gasoline that MJF needed, and that's why I feel like they're having to do so much work to get this over, because you didn't get the reaction you thought you were going to get by flipping the switch on MJF to go back and turn heel. So, they
made a mistake making MJF go back to heel. He should have just stayed as a baby.
I think you should have played that out a little bit longer. Like I said, if you want him to go heel, you turn him heel at All In, And that's where you had him beat Will Ospreay.
100%.
Like in the match, you go 30, 45 minutes of a great match going back and forth. He gets frustrated. They can't beat him. The ref's attention's distracted. Boom, kick him between the legs. And then everybody's like, oh, no. And then, boom, he turns scumbag again. So there we go. We didn't really talk a lot about, I had it written down here. We didn't talk a lot about the Judgment Day part of Raw.
No,
what did you think of that? Let's go back there. We kind of got through the I think the AEW stuff. I don't know, man. They had that match, anything goes match with Jeff Jarrett and
that was a good match.
Bryan Danielson. It was good, but here you go. And Frankie, you may disagree with me on this, and everybody else here might. If you have that much trouble beating Jeff Jarrett, how the hell are you beating Swerve Strickland?
See, but that's the difference in the AEW world. I think the AEW world doesn't look at it in that aspect. Kind of like, you know how you criticize me, you tell me, Frank, what's next with the storylines and all that stuff. I think AEW is the same way when it comes to their way that they do their storylines. They're like, we don't care if Bryan Danielson takes 5 minutes or he takes a whole hour to beat Jeff Jarrett. As long as Bryan Danielson wins, that's all that matters. And it won't affect his name, his brand. That's the problem. That's the way they look at it now. Maybe old school would be like, hey, why is he taking so long? Because this isn't the first time that we talk about this. Because remember
but I mean, like, he could be out there, but to me,
remember when we had Wardlow.
The whole thing with Bryan Danielson and Jeff Jarrett was Jeff Jarrett said, you got to be prepared for anything, and I'm going to get you ready for Swerve Strickland because you won the Owen tournament. Owen was my best buddy, and I want to make sure you cash it in right and you go out right. I want to make sure you're all in, is what he said. So why not during that match, if Bryan Danielson just made Jeff Jarrett like suffer? You want to know I'm all in? Okay, I lock this up. I lock in a hold. Don't let him give up yet. Then I let it go. And then I lock him in another move. Like, you could have made Jeff Jarrett suffer, but the fact that Jeff Jarrett got so much on you tends me to believe that Swerve should be able to beat you.
Okay, so before this, okay, let me say this. Going into All In, even after this whole thing happened, do you think who's going to win that fight between Swerve and Bryan Danielson? Is it a guarantee? Like in the AEW world where we know that Gunther's going to be Randy Orton, do we know, is Swerve going to beat Bryan Danielson or is Bryan Danielson going to beat Swerve?
I believe Swerve is beating Bryan Danielson.
I believe there might be a chance that Bryan Danielson might be Swerve because he's towards the end of his career. And Swerve has had the belt for a minute now.
And here you go with this part. Bryan Danielson's contract is up. He's no longer wrestling full-time. He's wrestling part-time, if at all. So now you put your title on Bryan Danielson?
They've done it before.
So you have another tournament?
With who?
Run it back another tournament?
Do you know who they did it with? You know who they did that with, right?
There's already a match announced for All Out.
No, but did you see who? You know who I'm talking about, right? When I said that, right? Sting, and the exact same thing with Sting. He left on top, and then they removed the belts from Sting and Darby Allin and let somebody else go.
Yeah, that's your tag team titles. Like, again, this is where I have a problem with Tony Khan. Sometimes is they have so many titles.
Yeah, sure.
Which title is the most important title?
None. They're all insignificant at this point.
So then in that case, then yeah, maybe just throw the title away. Then I mean that's what you're doing. Like, again, it's like it's the richest prize in the sport. Like that's how when you listen to Gunther talk and you listen to Cody talk, and Swerve does the same thing. But the problem is WWE makes it feel like those titles mean something, whereas AEW, it's cool. Swerve's got the belt. But it's not necessarily
because if you look at it, look how much attention the MJF North America, that American,
the American International title is getting more TV time than anything, and the TBS title too. The TBS title is getting more time than the women's title, although the women's title is getting time, and Toni Storm and Mariah May are making the best out of it. Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné is getting more TV time. But I feel like Mariah May and Toni Storm are making the best of their TV time.
Now, let me ask you this. Is there any way AEW can just start taking away some of these belts and just like saying, okay, let's cut back on these belts? Is there any way to play it out? Or do you just go straight up and be like, hey, we're getting rid of this, and then the people just forget about it?
No, I think you do what WWE used to do, right? I think WCW did a couple times. We're going to take the international title and whatever title, and we're going to put them together, and the winner becomes whatever, and then you make one new belt and done.
They just have too many belts, and then at the same time, they need to stop bringing belts from other places, like from CMLL and
also
from
the other
Japan
thing is, like,
Wrestling.
have you seen Moxley in a while? Just asking. I haven't. I've not paid like.
I'm glad that he hasn't been around.
I've watched Dynamite, but he hasn't been on anything.
Well, hopefully,
And Claudio's starting to do things on his own.
yeah, he's fighting against Okada tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, but he's doing like even like on the Instagram, he was like the Swiss Superman. He's going back to like kind of putting that over again more than the Blackpool Combat Club. And now you got Daniel Bryan probably leaving or ending his career soon. Moxley hasn't been there. Wheeler Yuta is the sacrificial lamb to take on Swerve this Wednesday night or next Wednesday.
Are you telling me that you miss Moxley?
I don't miss Moxley, but
you miss his bleeding.
No, I just want, like, how do you not use these guys though? Like that's what I don't understand. What's going on here?
Well, we don't know what's up with Moxley. I gotta do my research because you're
right.
No.
That's why I asked you, because I look, man. With AEW, I watch Dynamite. I do my recap, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to dig deep on their stuff because it's no like storyline. Follow it. It's like, what the hell happened to him? Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Well, maybe Moxley joins the Judgment Day. Maybe he goes back to WWE and joins the Moxley.
Well, there was talk that he was going to come out and help Roman. That's why I was saying it too. I don't believe that, but you never know, man.
Hey,
he got tired of bleeding, and he's like, "Hey, time for me to go get more money."
Maybe
because if they brought that back, if he came out to like be
the Shield, what about if you bring the Shield back against the Judgment, against the Bloodline?
If you write off Seth Rollins,
that'd be great.
You wrote off Seth Rollins to just move him to SmackDown to back up Roman and then bring back Moxley, and you hear that Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta.
Dude, now that is storytelling, my friend. You bring back the Shield. Those three guys against. Forget about the Bloodline. Forget about he already has Jay and all them over there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Back the Shield, and then he adds Jimmy Uso into the Shield, and now you got 4-on-4 ready. Oh,
well, then also somebody said in the chat here. Another thing that was brought up was remember the new Bloodline took out Paul Heyman. What if they ended up bringing all the Paul Heyman guys back together? So you got Roman, Brock, CM Punk, and then I don't know how you throw some other guys, but to come back to protect Paul Heyman. There's so many different ways that they could go with that, and it would be thing. I would love to see the Shield part of it, but
I think the Shield would be amazing to bring.
I just think there's so many ways they can go
Shield
with
2.0, baby.
And either way, but again, I go back to the whole thing about the Brock Lesnar part. That's the part that I don't know, man. I don't know.
You gotta bring Brock too.
The thing I wanted to talk to you about earlier, and I got sidetracked again, and now we're even here. And I will start this off by saying that I have love and utmost respect for this man. But watching the interview last week with Swerve and Jim Ross, it hurt, man. I'm not trying to. It was just like you see, to me, the health that Jim Ross is in, and then also like I just felt like it brought nothing to it. In fact, it brought so little to it that Swerve had to come out after Danielson's match, and he cut another promo with Danielson in the ring. I'm not sure what that brought to the table. I love Jim Ross, man. But I just felt like I don't know, that just didn't feel right, man.
I'll say this. I agree with you 100%. I I think maybe it's time for Jim Ross to kind of
That
call
hurts,
it
man.
call it his career. Or I mean, I know that when he does the special commentating with Tony
Yeah,
Schiavone, he doesn't sound bad. He because he doesn't have to
he throws
talk
out
as
a little
much.
bit. Yeah, he throws out a
Yeah, he
little like
doesn't.
slaughter
So
knocker.
I have no problem with him, when he does that.
Yeah.
But those one-on-one sit downs, when I saw that too, I was like, man, it's rough because he was maybe it's my impression, but he was kind of slurring a couple of
No,
his
there were
words.
some words, yeah, because there were certain words where he was, yeah, it slurred a little bit, man.
And then I was like, it's a little bit hard to understand what he's asking and telling Swerve. And Swerve was the one that I could clearly understand what he was saying. So
Yeah,
yes, I do agree 100%. I think if I was AEW, I wouldn't do that again. I would be like, and even if he asked for it, let's say, hey, let me do at least the one-on-ones. I would, if I was Tony Khan, I'd be like, look, Jim, I appreciate it and everything, but I don't think it's the right thing right now for you. I think
yeah,
you.
I don't know, man. It just showed, I guess, how in bad a shape that Jim Ross is, man. Like, because again, as you said, they had him out as a special announcer and everything seemed good, and then but when you saw that shot of him, it just, man, dude, it was.
And remember, we spoke about this
And I
too.
didn't even talk about it on my recap because I knew I wanted to talk about it today, and I didn't want to, make it like a. I'm not trying to beat up on AEW about it because I like the fact that they use Jim Ross, and I love that there. And that was one of the things I said they should do with Jim Ross is do more of the one-on-one sit-down type interviews. But after watching that, I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like I was wrong on that. I think bring him out for those announcements and do stuff like that.
Well, I mean, didn't TNA bring in this guy as the referee, the special guest referee for the um Bailey versus Mike Bailey versus Mustafa Ali? What was his name? I forgot his name. The referee that they copied, obviously the
Oh,
screw
Earl
job.
Hebner. Earl
Earl
Hebner.
Hubner. There you go.
Yeah,
Earl
we
Hubner.
talked about that
And
as
then
well.
again, we agree with you both and me
Yeah.
and said, "Yo, Earl Hubner, it's a little bit. He's out there. You saw him running down the entrance way, and he was like, you could
Yeah,
tell that he's
it's one of
not
those things where
100%.
you
Like,
love seeing the legends, the people you grew up with. Again, Gordon Soley was the soundtrack to my childhood, and Jim Ross was the soundtrack of my adulthood in wrestling. And again, we all Father Time. Nobody's gonna beat Father Time, and I feel like that's that. To me, again, you want to bring out for the special announcers. We can do that, but I just don't. And again, I had said I felt like that would be the position to use him in. And watching that happen on last Wednesday,
yeah.
I think I was wrong. Real quick before we finish up here, the Terror Twins. And what did you think of that whole thing with the Judgment Day on Raw?
I didn't like the fact that Rhea Ripley grabbed Dom and was gonna do that move. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was terrible. I thought that was bad. It shows weakness on Dom. It shows
That's
again.
what you're still stuck on this.
No,
Dom's
man.
going to be a world champion. Like,
No. Being
that's
all jokes aside, I know that he's not gonna be a world champion,
no,
but
I get you, but what I'm
I
saying
just
though is that like that is what he needs to be to me. That is what he is, and he gets saved. This time it's Liv. Before it was Finn. JD has saved him. Rhea saved him. Like that's
but
his
but
character. I
Sean,
love the fact that like when he did the whole the promo, he's like the one thing, and I talked about this last night was I really thought they were gonna go sexual innuendos because he goes, Liv does something for me that you could never do, mommy. And I'm going, don't do this. Don't do this. And then he goes, she treats me and she gives me chicken tendies. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. Because I didn't want to go in sexual innuendos when Buddy Murphy is with Rhea Ripley. Dom's married. You got, Liv doing what? It's just like I get the angles and things like that, but Like, I didn't want it to go that route. And then it didn't. But then when he said, instead of me calling you mommy, she calls me daddy. Like, it was so, to me, it helped elevate the Dom character to being how, what's the right word? Weaselly he is.
Okay.
Like, he's got to be told how good he is to feel good.
But here's my issue. Here's my issue with all this. You already know that Rhea is better and stronger than Liv Morgan, right?
And Dom.
And you just said it. And now they made her bigger than Dom. Like, so then now that you're putting this fight at Bash of Berlin, them two versus Damian and Rhea, well, what's the point of watching that match?
Backstabber Balor.
Rhea could actually just beat both of them. Like, why is Damian Priest even involved?
It's Backstabber Balor.
Even if Backstabber Balor comes in, they're still stronger than them, all three of them combined. Let's keep it real. That's the problem.
They are, but then you weasel it away, because I think what's going to happen is Balor's going to come out. Damian's probably going to go after Balor, and then they're going to end up cheating Rhea again.
Nah, I say Rhea and
Now, I don't think
Damian
Rhea
Priest
gets
wins.
the win again until she takes the title off of Liv.
Nah, I say both of them. Easily Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley win that one. Easily. Even if Balor gets involved. I mean, she could take both of them. That's what you did. You basically just proved to the WWE fans that she's stronger, because she was about to.
She picked up. She showed her strength, and then he was saved. He didn't get hit.
She picked him up. Like, come on. It's like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna try to pick you up," and you see me struggle. At least, if she would have at least struggled or done, no, she should have never even touched them. They should have left that all the way to the Bash of Berlin. Because the moment would have been clutch. You would have had Damian Priest there, and then all of a sudden, Rhea Ripley says, "Tag me in," and then she tags in, and then you have Rhea Ripley versus Dom. And then Dom is like, "Wait, this is not right." And then he tags back Liv Morgan. That's the act.
You're not gonna let Rhea do that to Dom in a match. Like, I don't.
Come on,
that was the chance. Just
look at all those ideas I'm throwing. I'm throwing gems out here, bro. Gems. But then all of a sudden you got Rhea Ripley picking him up, and then Liv having to freaking go ahead and save him. That's dumb. That was dumb. I'm telling you, man. I lost all respect for Judgment Day. Judgment Day is going down the hill, bro. It's done. You got rid of the biggest, baddest people in the Judgment Day now out of the group. That Judgment Day is gonna dissolve in a matter of seconds, a matter of minutes. Don't worry about it. It's pointless. I told you this. Once Damian beats Finn Balor, it's over.
I don't know how long it's going to be before he gets Finn Balor. That's going to be the interesting thing.
It'll be the next pay-per-view after Bash of Berlin.
I don't know. Bad Blood, maybe Bad Blood.
It'll be that. That's it. It's very simple. Very right there.
It's not very.
Yes. It's there. What? It's called. It's.
So what happens if somebody helps Balor win?
Who's gonna jump on the Judgment Day to help him out? Who? Tell me.
Who?
Yeah, you tell me. You tell me. Who?
Xavier Woods?
Why would he join if he has nothing to do with the Judgment Day? He has to go. If anything, he probably would join Alpha Academy because he was doing something with Alpha Academy recently.
I'm just throwing out names, but you can have anybody, dude. They could be somebody from NXT.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is you creating things to start messing around with us having these ideas of like, hey, this will happen. And in reality, it ain't happening. Triple H doesn't run like that. Triple H is straight down the book. I'm going that way, and that's the route. The moment he got rid of Damian and he got Rhea out of the Judgment Day is the moment we all saw, hey, dude, Judgment Day ain't lasting, bro. That's the truth.
All right. It is August 13th, 2024, 8:54 p.m. Judgment Day. Pronounced dead. By Frankie Fresco. On the Squared Circle Digest.
Right on the calendars.
It's done.
It's done.
Frankie has said, therefore, done. Judgment Day. You're done. It's fire Balor, fire JD McDonough, get rid of Carlito.
Well, remember what I told you. I said I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm gonna see what's gonna happen with those guys, and they're gonna either fall behind or they'll make it through. One of the two. But the Judgment Day's course already ran all the way through. That's it. They don't want it anymore. They want to get rid of it. They got rid of it. Now it's up to those guys and gals to make a name for themselves. And if they can't make a name for themselves, send their asses back to NXT or
White 6
AEW.
could come for Judgment Day.
Wouldn't the White 6 be going against the Judgment Day even be way better if Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley would have been in the Judgment Day? Okay. Come on, bro.
Yeah, but you can't just keep people in the group just to keep the group alive. Fans were cheering for Damian. Fans started wanting Damian to be a baby. Same with Rhea. Like, that's the problem.
In the group, and it was fine. It was not a problem. Nobody was complaining about the Judgment Day, cheering for them. They were cheering for Rhea for a long ass time. What are you talking about?
Yes, and you saw the dissension inside the group when she came back. Why is he in the club?
I actually thought it was cool that they brought Carlitos. He made it even cooler.
I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm saying though is when you have those guys, and then the whole storyline about there was never supposed to be a leader. But then when you won the title, you changed. You wanted to be the leader. There's supposed to be no leaders in the Judgment Day.
He always said he wasn't a leader, though. That was just an assumption that Finn Balor was doing. Did Dom or Carlitos or JD McDonald ever say, "Hey, you're the leader"?
This is all in Balor's head. Like
that's Finn Balor.
That's part of the story.
If anything, Finn Balor should have been kicked out of the Judgment Day.
Balor is the one that took and turned everybody else. That's why I said it's going to be interesting to see where like Liv fell in line, because to me, if anything, I would think the best thing that could have happened out of this whole Judgment Day thing was Balor and Liv being the couple, and then Dominic doing what they did right now with Dominic, and then ultimately Dominic gets left to the side. He's got nobody, no mommy, and now he's not being called daddy anymore because they played them both, and then Dom's there in the middle. Then he'll start getting some of the boos, some of the cheers, and then you start bringing him up.
He has to kind of pick and choose who he wants to rejoin with, or
he gets burned in the middle on both sides, and he's by himself. And now, for the first time, he's got to get a backbone, and there's nobody there to protect him.
His dad, Rey Mysterio.
That becomes a story, which he's in a story right now. But I'm saying, though, is ultimately if Finn becomes the manipulator here, which I feel like that's kind of what they've done, because it's all in Finn's head where, oh no, you're the leader. Yeah, he was directing them on what to do and things like that, but he never called himself the leader. You're right there. That's all been in Finn's head. So to me, it would have been better if ultimately you ended up putting like Dom out on the thing, because he's going to turn and go with Liv, but then Liv goes with Finn and JD. Now you have them as a group. Ultimately, Judgment Day's gone, dissolved regardless. But now you've broken into 3 different factions. You got the Terror Twins. You've got Finn, JD, and Liv. And then even Carlitos could stay with Dominic. And then you got those two kind of have to be on their own. So now you've gone in 3 different ways. But I don't feel like the way everything's going now, it feels like they're going to try to run this Judgment Day until it's done. And I just think that's wrong. I think you could just run another story off of it. And then ultimately you'll build up Dom to have to become a guy with a spine, whereas now he's always getting helped. Every time he's about to win, it was funny because she also said she did something for me you never did, which was help me get a win against my dad. But Rhea got him the North American Championship in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like she got him gold, not everything.
Was it her or was it the whole Judgment Day? That was the whole Judgment
Day, but under, with Rhea having his back and the Judgment Day having his back, but he didn't do it on his own, is what I'm saying. If they play this outright, it'll take both of our ideas, and ultimately, he's got to get a backbone, and what better way to get a backbone than he fights through the whole thing, becomes stronger as a person. And then you end up sliding like the U.S. title on him or something.
I mean, my only route with them, first, one thing I do want to criticize is, when they were having the back and forth, Liv Morgan and Rhea, and then Dom was there as well. She also referenced kind of Buddy Matthews, if I'm not mistaken. She went and she said, "Oh, your man is like about a couple miles away or something like that," is what she also said. I don't know why she said that. Doesn't make any sense why she would bring that up. I thought that was a I don't know who gave her that line or why they made her reference that, especially like it has nothing to do unless Buddy Matthews was in WWE, that would make sense. But I don't know why they did that. Second of all, the only other thing I could see happening here is obviously once Damian Priest fights against Finn Balor and Damian is eventually going to get over and beat Finn Balor, is that you could create a feud now with Liv Morgan and Dom and Finn Balor and have all three have like a thing where you don't know now if Liv really wants to side with Dom or if Liv is really siding with Finn Balor. Because before, remember, Finn Balor was kind of like showing some kind of like doing things with Liv Morgan before. So I think that's a route they could take eventually, where it will be, hey, Dom versus Finn Balor or something like that, and then for Liv Morgan or something in between. I think that's something that they might test the waters eventually down the road, especially since they don't want to keep the Judgment Day around. That's just me though.
Yeah. All right, Frankie, let them know where they can get a hold of you, man.
Frankie Fresco.
Invite the shows.
Frankie Fresco channel. It's me and my brother. Let me talk to you. 8 p.m. every Wednesday. We'll have our show this weekend. I'm sorry, this weekend. Tomorrow we'll have the show tomorrow. Next weekend, unfortunately, we will not have it. I'll be flying back to South Florida from California, so we won't be able to have the show next week. But definitely this week. This week we're gonna be talking about the USA basketball team. Should we or should we have not praised them for their performance or of winning the gold medal? I'm doing my best to try to have 2 in-house guests actually being on the show tomorrow. So hopefully, if everything pans out correctly, I will have 2 guests live in my my little area here in my Frankie Fresco castle here. I have 2 guests.
Oh, you mean actually in your house?
Yes. I'm setting
okay.
up. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to set up a second camera, and then we will have 2 more mics, and I'll have 3 people in the show. 2 of them live from my location, along with myself, and then my brother. And the other one, unless my brother wants to make his way over to my house as well, maybe I could set up a different. Maybe it could be a whole different view. But I gotta see. I'm working. I gotta coordinate it. I think it might happen. I'm not too sure, but it might happen. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Miami Dolphins. Cheetah talking that he wants to outrun Noah Lyles and that whole beef. Apparently, I think he should outrun Noah Lyles. He should race him. He should challenge him. And we're also talk about the preseason game. Obviously, me and my brother were out there. We'll tell you a little bit of the gems that we saw out there. Shout out to Duck, man. That guy was cool cornerback. I hope he makes the team. And then, of course, if you want to follow me on all social media, Fresco Music is there. Always going everywhere. I will be posting a lot of new things next week because I'm gonna be in California, so you might see a couple cool like famous people. Hopefully a lot of
Frankie Fresco. Get no famous than that.
Yeah, you're probably gonna see me with a couple of like hopefully famous. I'm gonna take a lot of photos. I didn't do it last year. Last year, I met Little John and I met a couple of other artists. So this year I should be able to find and meet some more new artists and take photos. I'm gonna be a groupie. Yes, sir. Groupie out there. But and then obviously but all jokes aside, I'll definitely be taking more pictures of a lot of my friends and a lot of people I met in California and around the world because there's a lot of people who go to this event in California next week. So it'll be pretty cool to just, get to know a lot of new friends and also reunite with some of the old friends and then take photos. So if you want to follow me, Frankie Fresco on the YouTube channel and Fresco Music on all social media platforms.
And you can follow me at Sean_Stanley11, XIG Thread, Stanley Media House Network on Facebook and YouTube. I do YouTube shorts every day or every other day usually, so you can check me out there. Frankie, I thank you so much for being a part today. Also, next week, don't forget, we'll be a little bit later. And then the week after that, the next 2 Tuesdays, will be a little bit later on the start times. Next week, I'll probably be me solo, just doing a quick follow-up on what's been going on.
Or maybe myself. Maybe I'll jump. I don't know. I'll see what I could do. If not, maybe you get one of those famous people on with us. Maybe I could get Another a bloodline from my bloodline to come.
All right,
to
if you're
take
there,
over
why
the
can't we
throne.
get L.A. Knight? Yeah.
If he's in LA, actually I should go visit him. See what's up. But maybe I could get one of my bloodline members to come over and be a guest in your show. How about that?
I like it. Let's do it, man.
He might be in the chat as we speak. Maybe he would be interested. If you're cool with it, I'll ask him.
Yeah,
If you know what I mean. So
sounds good. And again, please make sure you hit the like button on the way out, shares, retweets, whatever you can do to help promote the Squared Circle Digest, Stanley Media House Network, Frankie Fresco, the YouTube channels. Please, thank you. We appreciate all the support and everything that you give us each and every week, welcoming us into your home every Tuesday night, usually 7 p.m. Don't forget next week, later start time. It will be posted. We are the Squared Circle Digest. He is Mr. Frankie Fresco. I'm Sean Stanley. And until next week, in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun, shine, stay.